guys with their nails done.
I promised myself not to do a consecutive BARUUK video, but I just can't resist Space Monk. His endless lullaby augment created new stealth gameplay to his style, but that only a portion of the goodness that BARUUK has to offer to players right now. Being invisible is fun, but the craziest thing about this frame is his new Serene Storm augment, called Reactive Storm. Welcome team. I know some of you are kind of excited about this video, especially those who mains this frame. I mean, who would not be glad of airbending high-level enemies to their death? Join me for a couple of minutes, as I show you how to channel that inner rage, and destroy anything in your path. But before we proceed, I would humbly ask that you like and subscribe to our channel. I'm hoping to get 200k subs before the end of this year, and I was hoping that you could help me achieve this goal. Thank you so much, and now, let's dive into the video. Okay, first things first. Let me try to give some important information about Reactive Storm, based on my experience equipping it on my BARUUK. Although the description of the augment is pretty straightforward, there are hidden mechanics on the augment that you should know. I don't know if this is intended or not, and I really hope that Digital Extremes make some clarification about this one, but it seems that Desert Wind's waves don't affect the alteration of damage types. You must hit the enemies first with your fist or kicks to alter the damage type, so it matches the weakness of a certain enemy. Also, it seems that only the base impact damage is altered to match the enemy's weakest damage type. If damage becomes a primary element, it will combine with other modded primary elements. The impact damage mods no longer have any effect after changing. Aside from that, damage may become any type, but due to the known health, armor, and shield types, it cannot become true, void or cold damage, turn back to impact, or naturally become heat or puncture without arcanes. In cases where damage types are tied, it will prioritize physical types first, then primary elements, and secondary elements last. In addition, you should also know that damage resistance reduction by Magus Accelerant, Magus Destruct, or Petrify will influence the new damage type, even if armor is present. Honestly speaking, I really don't care that much about the damage alteration. If it were useful in the Profit Taker fight, then I would be thrilled about this mechanic. But sadly, it's not the case for this augment. However, the status chance increase is pretty wicked. With about 300% power strength, you can have 100% status chance with only a rank 2 Reactive Storm. That would save you some energy capacity, and allows you to min-max your build for BARUUK. Also, the augment is very viable for BARUUK, since building for high power strength will not only give you status chance and damage on your Desert Wind, but it will also give you damage mitigation from your Desolate Hands, and Serene Storm when it's active. The best part is, it's a better chromatic blade in my opinion. Why did I say that? It's because, not only the augment is good, but the ability itself great, since it can hit multiple targets every time. The only thing you need to do is, keep your restraint eroded, and just airbend enemies to death. In fact, I have released a recent video about BARUUK being the king of Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. This is the perfect place to have some dumb fun with the Reactive Storm augment. Lots of enemies, meaning you can keep your restraint eroded every time, with the help of Lull and Desolate Hands. While the 100% status chance definitely increases the damage of BARUUK, that you can solo farm this mission without breaking a sweat. Now let's move on with the build. For BARUUK, it's all about maximum power strength, with some range and efficiency. This build is meant to have low duration, since we will be using Lull mainly to erode our restraint bar. To make it short and simple, we spam this ability until we are satisfied with the result. Also, Desolate Hands can help out erode our restraint bar, but its main purpose is to give us damage mitigation. Just remember of the fact that each dagger provides a 10% damage reduction, which means you need to keep at least 9 daggers floating on your BARUUK to get that 90% damage reduction cap. Anyway, you can always recast this ability if you want, since this BARUUK build is not that energy hungry. Some players are using Rage on their build to restore energy, but honestly, I find just using Xenuric's energizing dash sufficient for my playstyle. Energy orbs will probably be abundant, since we will be killing enemies fast, and Xenuric will be enough to restore a portion of my energy. If you have Arcane Energize, then you can equip it. Other arcanes that I think are useful for this build are Arcane Fury and Arcane Strike. Fury increases the damage dealt by your Desert Wind, while Strike increases its attack speed. For my Desert Wind, I have these mods for my final build. Previously, I was rocking a Spoiled Strike variation. This mod setup has tons of heavy attack damage, but it's pretty slow. The red crit damage on heavy attacks are massive, but right after a couple of hours playing with the Reactive Storm augment, I feel like it's more worth to play with the waves of Serene Storm. Even if the heavy damage of this mod setup is lower compared to my previous setup, it's way faster and has more DPS. The fast attack speed complements the damage of this setup, and it's more reliable compared to relying on just heavy attacks. Don't get me wrong, this mod setup can still do heavy attacks. It just has lower damage compared to the Spoiled Strike setup. By the way, Corrupt Charge is a must-have mod for BARUUK in my opinion. This mod is not only for heavy attacks, but it actually helps our Serene Storm waves do some orange crits. And one last thing, elemental mods are much preferable compared to dual status mods because we already have 100% status chance with the help of a 300% power strength Reactive Storm. In my case, I usually go with a combination of elemental mods, and I usually pick the right element for a specific faction. It's not because I don't find the damage type adaptation feature of this mod unreliable, it's because it adds more damage to the build. Altort, it's not yet cleared if you need to hit with your fist or kicks to proc the damage type adaptation, but it's not a problem, since BARUUK has a pull combo which you can use to your advantage. Lastly, let's talk about using primed pressure point over condition overload. The main reason why I have done this is just personal preference. I'm usually incorporating heavy attacks on my playstyle, so it's best that I have the increased damage than proccing a status first before I can get a damage buff. So that's all about it, lads. I hope that after watching this video, you will have enough knowledge about BARUUK's new Reactive Storm. After this video, I'm planning to tackle the new Kuva weapons, or the Lich system in general. Finally team, I have taken down my very first Lich, and I'm doing my fourth right now. Only a few of my friends know this, but I have taken a short hiatus from grinding on Warframe. Well, that's to avoid burnout. One way of not hating this game is to not make it a daily chore. We all know that this game is all about grinding the stuff we need, and sometimes it will take a lot of time and effort. The best thing that you can do to avoid disliking this fact is to do something else. Bond with your family or play other games. Anyway, you can come back anytime you want because Warframe is accessible to everyone. Just stop the hating and enjoy, team. Thank you, everyone. Expect more Warframe content soon. See you in my next video. Squad leader signing off.